You guys are waiting to receive a package that you were told to get. There's a counter, has an open window. You can see in it. It almost looks like a pharmacist where you see a couple of people kind of in the background collecting. They're collecting and going to different cabinets, putting things into certain cases and moving around. Carrick, you find yourself standing there looking at a mirror, kind of adjusting yourself, adjusting your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in the mirror?
Oh, God. What did we create? 5'10"? Notably short for an elf.
Yeah.
Welcome to System Exploration by Unfortunate Ones. I'm Sav.
I'm Nix.
I'm Greythorn.
And today we are playing our session 1 of our system exploration of D&D 5e. And I know they changed their names a lot, so this is 2014 D&D 5e as DM'd by Nix. But before we get too deep into it, we realized that in character creation, we did miss something, as Nix intentionally leveled us to level 4 for our lower level 5e game, which means we get either an ASI, an ability score improvement, which gives you basically 2 points to improve whatever score you want, either two scores by 1 or 1 score by 2. Or you can pick what are general feats that are available to any character, which, at least at our home table, is typically what we choose. So I chose the Heavy Armor Master, which has a requirement of the proficiency with heavy armors, which I have. And basically I get an increase to my strength score of 1, and any non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage is reduced by 3.
Yeah.
And that is the general feat that I chose at level 4 for my character, Karik.
Yeah. And Gray?
I took Crossbow Expert, so I don't have disadvantage within 5 feet when using a crossbow and intending to shoot with it. When I attack with my weapon and I have a crossbow in my offhand, I could bonus attack action with it, like a dual wield scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is I get to ignore
The loading.
the loading component, but that doesn't really matter much because I'm a bard.
Yeah. And also, just to clarify for 5e, or people who may or may not be familiar with 5e, when you use range, if you use a ranged attack within 5 feet of a combatant, you're supposed to have disadvantage on your attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
The crossbow expert just negates that.
Yep. Oh, it also negates if you are... Oh, yeah, I guess it's the same thing, but shooting someone... Because that's actually both ways. So, like, if you have a combatant next to you and you're shooting a different combatant, you still have the disadvantage, or if you're shooting that same person next to you, you have disadvantage, and crossbow expert negates that.
Yeah, paradoxically, if they're prone and you're within 30 and you're within 5 feet of them, you have advantage to hit them, but you also have disadvantage to hit them because you're within that range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
It makes it just crosses it out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a normal roll.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then we will jump right into whatever mini campaign our DM, Nix, has prepared for us.
I'll do a little bit of setting. So you guys are what I would call, or what is called, runners in the city of Phalor, which is a relatively advanced city that you live in. Think if Hogwarts was a city and it's slightly more modern era. Like, not completely modern era, but it's not like Hogwarts. I always imagine like the 20s or 30s. I don't actually know when it takes place.
I get what you mean, though, yeah.
Yeah. More advanced society. And runners are essentially people that do tasks for the higher up mages of the city.
For the mages.
For the mages, usually. Mages, and it can be people of the upper echelon, but for the most part, you do work for the mages.
Okay.
You might be tasked to do things within the city. You might be tasked to do things with, outside of the city. You have, as part of your equipment, you have a glove that marks the symbol that you are a runner. That has a symbol of the group on it.
Okay.
And
So this is like out in the open that these groups operate.
Runners are a known entity, and runners are a known thing in the city that you live in.
Okay.
You are provided accommodations based off of your skill level. So you have a home provided for you. You have certain establishments that you can go to that you could use your glove with that'll provide free food. It is essentially a pretty cushy gig. There's not a whole lot of reasons why you would feel the need to abandon it unless necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Another big thing about the runners is they don't really care about your past. You do your job, you do what you're assigned, you get paid for it, you get taken care of. They don't really care. As long as work gets done, work gets done.
Probably best with our criminal backgrounds.
And then to set the start of where we're going to be in our story, both of you find yourself in a cold room, very brightly lit. Think of like a waiting room in like a hospital. You guys are waiting to receive a package that you were told to get. There's a counter, has an open window. You can see in it. It almost looks like a pharmacist, where you see a couple of people kind of in the background collecting. They're collecting and going to different cabinets, putting things into certain cases and moving around. Carrick, you find yourself standing there, looking at a mirror, kind of adjusting yourself, adjusting your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in the mirror?
Oh, God. What did we create? 5'10". Notably short for an elf.
Yeah.
Fair skin, hazel eyes.
And you would be fully equipped at this point, so you can describe yourself as fully equipped.
Yes. I believe actually a half elf. Yes, a half elf. Around 80 years age, so I think that's like midlife for a half elf. Black hair, fair skin, relatively unscathed. Like, I don't think, while I have committed violence, I think very likely not have I had violence committed against me very much. So, like, I don't have, like, scars or anything. I don't look overbearingly, like, weathered or anything like that. Someone might mistake me for looking green, other than the way that I hold myself, probably standing behind Spike in some manner in this room, as relatively the, air quotes, muscle of the group. With my chainmail armor relatively on display, and my hand on, not on the hilt, but like on the pommel of my greatsword, my go-to weapon. I do have a secondary longsword in a separate sheath, as well as a shield on my back. But I like cutting people down with longswords.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to.
Yeah, if you have to.
If they make me.
Yeah.
Very calm, stoic demeanor. Very business.
And as you kind of look at yourself and make your final adjustments to any armor, anything you see outstanding in this long mirror on this wall.
Gotta keep it spiffy.
Yeah. You look over to where Spike is. And what does Carrick see?
Carrick. That's why I laughed earlier, is immediately we got
I'm not good at this.
Your average tiefling, more bluish in color. As far as I know, tieflings come in like reds and browns and yellows and all that stuff.
Colors, yeah.
Two horns that kind of go up and then back, sort of in a slicked-ish way. His hair also goes back in a slicked manner. He has somewhat nice clothes. I wouldn't call him no clothes of nobility,
Mm-hmm.
but he dresses nicely. for whatever occasion.
Mhm.
And for his occasion as a runner, he likes to present himself as like a more of a business-ish kind of guy.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere close by, he has his fiddle. On him, he'd have his rapier.
Mhm.
And within reach, probably not like close by, but it's there if he has to get it. He has his hand crossbow. But in general, he kind of just, he's waiting. How long have we been here?
It's probably been about 15 or 20 minutes.
He's waiting, leaning against something, thinking, maybe like staring off into the distance, looking like he's saying something but not really talking. As he, scans the room every once in a while, looks towards the door. We're waiting in the hospital, you said?
Imagine this is like, it's like the lobby of a hospital, but it's a little bit like you're looking inside a pharmacy.
Okay.
Like you're looking at behind the counter of a pharmacy.
Okay.
You can hear occasion like clinking of sounds, drawers opening, certain things getting like mixed and tossed into certain. You are in what is called a refiner. The building is called a refiner.
They sell medical goods here.
It is not medical, but
It's not a hospital.
It is not a hospital.
Like a hospital
It is-
in the sense that it is bright.
Yeah, to give you
Okay.
the sense that it is sterile, like it is a sterile environment that you are in.
Gotcha.
And he looks like he's just waiting. Every once in a while, maybe you hear like the tink or a drawer, and he looks
Yes.
over there and is like, "Is it our turn?" And he goes, "No." Goes back to, staring off into nothing, just muttering under his breath. About it.
Which one of you, the two of you, would have left your name, would have gone to the counter to place in the order?
Guess it'd be Spike.
You see as somebody who, long sleeve, black sleeve, white apron, big round glasses, black slick black hair, walks to the counter. They have something in their hand they put over the counter. Go, Spike?
Spike stands.
Well, it's all right. This is your order for Gantz. Should be all here. Kind of opens up the little case that's in there. You can see there's about 10 of these glass containers that all have this like, it almost looks like a heavy iridescent fluid in an oil. So there is like a thick moving quality to it. It almost kind of feels like it moves on its own, but it has this like floating speck inside the material. Should all be here. Kind of closes the case, secures it, starts putting a little like lashings around it, like little leather straps around it. To give you guys the spiel, everyone gets, do not transport Varium magically. Be careful with any sudden movements. The normal stuff. Be careful with this stuff.
Now, do we know what we're doing as we come here, or is this the guy just giving us the stuff that is part of the job?
You have gone to the refiner before.
Mhm.
You have some familiarity with what Varium is. And it is something to be careful about. When he says giving you the spiel, more than likely, you're not unfamiliar with what this stuff is.
Is it that it's like, what's the word? Unstable? Like if it were to be transported with magic or jostled too much, do we know what the consequences would be?
It could be a history check, or what's your history passive? Using a little bit of 5e and some of that jazz business.
That jazz business?
Jazz business.
My history is my intelligence is 0, which would make my passive 10.
10. You have enough familiarity that it's an unstable liquid.
Dangerous.
Think you're hauling
Nitroglycerin?
nitroglycerin.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind, yeah.
Yeah. That's
magic nitro.
Yeah, treat it like magic nitro.
What is Gantz? You mentioned the word Gantz. Is that the name?
Gantz is the current tasker that you have as a runner right now. That's the job you're doing it for. You have come from Gantz. Gantz has given you this assignment to go get him some Varium.
Okay. So we are returning to Gantz.
You are returning to Gantz.
Okay.
What's this stuff called?
Varium. But yeah, it's unstable.
Okay.
And he goes, As he's kind of sliding this over, it's like, do you need anything special to help carry this for you? He's just kind of looking at like other like ropes and another like a way to kind of set it on yourself. Right now, it just kind of has like something you can hold. Yeah, essentially.
Well, like, something to hold, I think would be fine.
Yeah, it just has a basic strapping, so you essentially hold it to your side right now.
How heavy does it look?
This is probably about 10 pounds.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. Do you want to take it or should I?
I'll take it.
Okay.
It's like, we are not responsible for any damages to yourself or to your surroundings once you have taken over the variant. All right, Phyllis. See you next time.
Give him a nod. Where are we taking this? Back to Gantz?
Back to Gantz.
Where is Gantz from here?
Yeah, if you exit, it's essentially probably about a 15, 20-minute walk that you can get to Gantz.
How valuable is this?
It's pretty valuable. This is like, this would be a big expense for anybody outside. It's actually probably even like almost extraordinarily difficult for anybody outside of the ring of mages that have access to it.
Okay. The moment we step outdoors, I'd probably step ahead of Spike and immediately just start looking around. Who looks shady? Who looks like they might be paying attention? Who might have eyes on this doorway? Not necessarily on us. They don't know that we're carrying anything until they see goods in our hands. But who might be a threat?
Give me a percentage check.
16 plus my perception modifier, which is nothing. 16.
As you look around, and although not an unfamiliar sight to you, you still see the city, which is, you're in a walkway. There is one sidewalk to your that you're on right now. Oh, well, the entire first floor that you're on is essentially a pedestrian way. There are a series of 2 to sometimes 4-story buildings to either side of your streets. Some of these buildings have terraces and walkways that go from each side. There is on some of these streets, there is a second level that these terraces and walkways go past. To either side of you, there's a bunch of these different streets and walkways. As you look up, you see giant vertical sheer towers that go all the way pierce into the sky. The sky is perfectly blue, like it looks like almost the perfect sunny day out in front of you. And you see, every once in a while, you see people that are being transported on what are essentially modified Tensor's disc, as people are just kind of on disc, kind of flying by you. And like some series of channels, it looks like some are just random pathways. But as you look around, nothing catches your eye of anybody that's looking at you immediately.
Or just watching the building looking sketchy in any way.
Yeah. The occasional look over at you as you are armed, and every once in a while, maybe somebody would look down to your glove, but not any more than what you would already be used to. No extra attention.
Sure.
You make your way to Gantz?
Yeah. I imagine me within the lead.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make our way to Gantz.
You guys are walking. Normal. Nothing seems to call out to your attention any more than any other day. Everything seems fine. You have the gentle clinking of the glasses in their little holders in the case that you were carrying. And about your 20-ish minutes of this walk, you're kind of hitting the outside of Gantz's laboratory. This is a sheer, windowless, 2-story building that you are looking at. It's only one door, one entrance. There is no other way to get into this building that you know of. And as you head towards the door of it, as familiar as you guys are, one of you approaches with your glove facing the door. And as it does, the door recognizes the sigil, and you hear a shh as the door opens in front of you. And you walk into what looks like an empty hallway. And as you're walking through the hallway, you're familiar with this feeling and with this sound, or lack of sound, as you enter the hallway. It feels almost completely quiet, like there's nothing here. And then you pass a wall where the silence spell that protects this building goes, you are now entering within the sound, and you hear a series of different kinds of breathing and different kinds of various noises and moans, some pain, some unrecognizable.
Is this abnormal when we visit Vance?
But this is normal. This is Gant's laboratory.
How often do we work with this guy? Or for this guy?
You do some jobs for him. He is one of the many mages that your tasker is always different. You are assigned every day. You are assigned either 1, 2, or 3 taskers. And they have a number of jobs that they give you, and then you go off to the next tasker. And then as soon as they're done with you, that's your loop. But you have worked with him before. And then you pass the lovely, dangling surgical, I would say surgical plastics as you enter into Gant's laboratory, where you see numbers of various states of humanoid creatures that are all either strapped to various pods or beds. Some are being grown or regrown or healed inside various pods and beakers. There are some larger beakers in this place. But you see Gantz, who is lying across, strapped to a bed of a rather large looking sort of creature. As you enter into the building, he hits a button as you see this electrical energy hit into the side, the arm of this creature, as it bursts out in a painful moan. As its head kind of rocks to the side. And as he finishes, clicks off the thing, he looks kind of, walks up towards it and starts inspecting the wound. You enter in. And he's inspecting his little thing, and as he's looking at this wound, he's like, place the varium over there. And you see there's an empty table that he's pointing to.
Gantz.
Yes, boys. How was the walk?
Uneventful.
I would hope so. He still hasn't looked towards you. He's still looking upon this creature that he's experimenting on.
Sure. I think I am probably just looking at that creature as well as the other horrifically mangled creature. I'm not making any faces or anything, but in my mind, I'm like, this is horrible. This is a horrible, disgusting thing that is the person for whom I work for.
Yeah. You would know. This doesn't really make it that much better because they still feel things. For the most part, most of the things in this room are all homunculi of sorts.
Yeah. Still feel things.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
They're expressions.
I would never betray to any of the leadership amongst our cohort or company or whatever you want to call it, guild, that I think they're all horrible people. Still take their money though. I will just stand there. You have the stuff if you want to put the stuff on the table.
Yeah, I go over there and I put the stuff on the table.
And as you set the case down, there's the clinking of the glass as you set it down. You hear Gantz like, that's all I got for you boys. You guys can head off to your next tasker. As he's just there continually prodding as the thing he's on is still kind of rocking, shivering a little bit on the strap to the table.
Okay. So we're moving on to our next tasker?
Yeah.
What is our next tasker? Do we know?
The next tasker you're working for is Kochi. Kochi is also somebody that you have worked before with, but somebody you are a little more inclined to do work for.
Okay.
You have a little bit of a longer history with Kochi.
As we depart from... what species is Gantz, by the way?
Gantz is Elvish.
Elvish. As we depart from Gantz's workshop...
I forgot to describe Gantz.
Happens. In Gantz's lab, as we get back out onto the street on our way to Kochi, just quietly, still hand on pummel, still looking around at the people, kind of just always doing that, looking around, making sure that Spike is safe, making sure that no one is going to accost us. We wear our sigil out in the open, but that tends to mean we have valuables on us even when we don't.
Do you want to rely on your passive for that, or you're just...
I'll make a check, but more so I was going to just quietly say to Spike, what a horrible creature.
I had a voice for this.
You can find it.
As I always say, the 0th circle of hell over here.
Well, one day maybe that creature will find itself on one of those tables.
Well, what comes around goes around.
Indeed. At least Kochi is our next handler.
Better work from them than him.
I got a 16 by the... Oh, no, wait, hold on. Yes, a 16.
Okay.
Looking at threats around us. Doesn't have to be anything there.
No. Yeah, I mean, everything seems normal. And as you're between taskers, you can, in this moment, if you guys feel like it, you can kind of drift about the city a little bit. You can get yourself a little bit of food if you feel like it, or you could just immediately go. This is essentially there's a moment where you could have a break.
A little bit of downtime. Wherever Spike would lead us.
Probably go straight to the next job. I mean, what was this, a 15-minute walk?
Yeah. It is. You had the morning with...
This was a quick DoorDash?
Yeah. You had the morning with Gantz. You had a couple of other things you did. This was the last job you had for Gantz for this day. You didn't know it at the time, but this was the last thing he had you do.
Sure.
You guys begin to make your way to Kochi.
Mm-hmm.
Making your way to Kochi's is a lot more pleasant of a walk. One being Kochi's residence at his workshop is adjacent to the waterway. There's a nice little, think of the Riverwalk in San Antonio. It's like that. There's a nice little riverway. There's like buildings to the side of it. There's shops. People walk there just to kind of hang out and be around. And Kochi's building is 2 stories tall, glass on the 2nd floor. All of its adjacent sides is a park, except for the right and to the front. The front is part of the walkway, and to the right faces the Riverwalk. You guys begin to make your way there. You always cautiously, you being Karik, keeping your vigilant eye out for anything that may be giving you too much attention for too long.
Yeah, looking at us wrong or anything like that.
Every once in a while, maybe a kid will look a little long because you guys are fully geared out. Not many people in the city have full gear. You still find people. There are still people who have gear in the city, but not many are fully armored and fully out. But yeah, you begin to make your way to Kochi's. And as you make your way to Kochi has a very similar kind of lock, very similar kind of door. You face your sigil, and the door opens to Kochi's workshop. And as you enter in to Kochi's workshop, the door opens, you pass in, and something you're used to in some of these mages' workshops, the inside is bigger than the outside. The outside is, while still impressive, it doesn't look too dissimilar to out of the ordinary from other buildings around you, but inside is much grander, much bigger. And while Gantz's workshop is a cacophony of horrendous things, Kochi is a designer. Kochi is a dwarf. Kochi is an older dwarf. He's a thinning dwarf. He has dark olive green long sleeve. He has his white lab coat. He has, instead of rubber gloves, he has workshop gloves. He has thick leather gloves. Salt, pepper hair, thinning dwarf. And you see him working on, while you can't exactly discern the object that it is some sort of maddening design of magical instrumentation. And his whole lab is filled with this. His whole lab has numerous different devices. You assume nothing with magical, different implications of certain, what looks like arms, what looks like arrays of metal, and all over designing on all of these buildings is something you're also very familiar, which is fractal patterns. So you see a bunch of different fractal patterns, even on his wall. They're lined with fractal patterns along a lot of these magical objects, and a lot of the surfaces of the things that he is working on are series of carved in fractal patterns of various kinds. Some look more like natural kind of formations that happen in plants, and some look a little bit more geometric and a little hard lined. But he is in the middle of working and tinkering on some various magical objects, some shaping of metal, carving into the side of it. As you enter into his lab, he immediately pops open his little goggles he has on. He's like, "Oh, hey, how are you boys doing today?" Kind of like steps up, kind of brushes off his coat, kind of gets himself up and starts walking towards you. "How's the day been treating you?"
Quiet
day. Nothing exciting. No exciting work.
Just delivering boom juice to Dr. Frankenstein over there.
Ah, yes, that's, I don't like going to his. It's important work. It's interesting work. It's helped the Empire quite a bit, but,
I'm sure the Empire is thankful for his studies.
Always gives me the shivers. Well, I wish I could give you guys an easier job like he's. If I just needed some boom juice. Don't quite need the boom juice. How familiar are you boys with navigating the Wasteland?
How familiar are we with navigating the Wastelands?
To an extent, you guys have some familiarity with exiting the city and doing something outside of the city.
Which is typically more dangerous,
It is a lot more dangerous.
We have done.
Well,
Can't be worse than transporting Varium.
yeah, I'm not asking you to take Varium into the Wastelands. That'd be... that would surely be your demise. But I'm asking you to do something not too dissimilar. It's a lot, but I'm going to need you boys to go towards the warfront. It's going to be... Hopefully you could see... I'm not asking you to go directly to it. It'll be adjacent to it. But I need you to deliver. I need you to get something for me. He kind of goes back to another...
Is this out of ordinary for...
This is... You have had jobs in the Wastelands. You know about runners who have had to go...
More out of ordinary for what he gives us.
It is a little bit out of the ordinary for the normal jobs Kochi would give you. Kochi has in the past given you a Wasteland job, but it is to the south and not to the north.
Mm-hmm.
To the north is the warfront, to the south isn't.
How familiar would we be with the war? What is going on there?
It is even without... you can give a roll for how much you know, but you know a decent amount. So you understand that the Bezerite, is that what they called them? The Bezerite kingdom that you belong to, or Bezerite Empire, is at war with the what did I call them? The Vitivian Coalition. And as far as you're aware, this conflict has been going on for thousands of years. It is just a sustained conflict that has just rocked this region for a very, very long time.
I imagine someone of my prowess probably is avoiding the war. Otherwise, why would I not be a part of it?
Mm-hmm.
So I will, in a more cheeky way to get Kochi to explain what it is that we're supposed to be doing, not to actually respond to what I am saying, I will say, you know that we are not soldiers, Kochi.
Please, I am not asking you to fight. Best bet is you're going to be running east or west of the actual war front, but the first bit of it is going to be running northwest. It's just running towards the direction of the war. I'm hoping, for all intents and purposes, that you will not see combat in any shape, way, or you're running. You know, it's just there's a swamp in the northeast that there's a particular crystal that I'm looking for. I have bits of it, but I need more of it for one of these refiners. He's pointing over to one of his machines. It relies on this crystal to for me to get to the final end result that I need, and I just need more of it. And as far as I'm aware, this swamp is not involved in this combat at all, or in this conflict. But it will be a little dangerous. I apologize for it, but I need to get more of this stuff. It's kind of like we went over and he grabbed a little case.
Are there mines of it that we are retrieving this from?
There are like geothermal vents that exist in this swamp where this crystal grows out of. Essentially, you just walk up to it and you should recognize it's a bright blue crystal. You should be able to just pick off some of it. Gather as much as you can. I don't need large chunks. Even the dust is all I need. And he has this little case and he pops it open. As much as you could feel in here. You won't find huge chunks of it. At least I don't think you will. If you do, that's more than I've ever seen in any book talk about being able to find naturally.
So it is to be plucked like flowers from a plant then?
Yes.
I'll look over at Spike. So in the waste we go, now acting as both miners and herbalists.
As long as it don't blow up on me. Kochi, what else are we expecting at this swamp?
Well, I mean, there are various wildlife. Hopefully nothing big. I don't think anything big or dangerous. But you have that sword of yours, and you have your bow.
Every time you say hopefully, Kochi, that becomes something that I expect we face on this journey.
Well.
Hopefully no conflict. Now we are fighting in a war, and hopefully no large creatures, for which now we are confronting.
I could see that. And those, I could see what you're getting at. Well, what if when you come back, in your rooms, you find a little extra platinum. And I'll make sure you get vacation time. Extra vacation time. I'm sorry, boys. I need this. This is very important for the cause, for the Empire.
I'll look over to see if Spike looks like he wants to do this job.
Kochi,
Yes?
say no more.
Well, I would add a condition. I would have you say, hopefully there's more platinum in our stores. As that becomes true.
Hopefully, you will find more platinum.
Very well, Kochi. You said as much as can fit in the box?
As much as you can fit in that case, yes. If you can find more, then this isn't boom juice. This won't go up in your pockets. But I assume this case should hold practically what you could find. He gives you a little like compass that goes with it. This should direct you towards the swamp. It should guide you.
I'll hand that over to Spike.
I have informed the gatesmen, the guardsmen, that you're exiting. They'll give you a pack of supplies to take with you into the waste. Feel free to return to your homes if you need to get anything else. But I would see to it if you guys could jump on this as fast as possible. And return as fast as possible, and as healthily as possible. Hopefully.
Hopefully. How far would we expect the swamp to be?
He didn't give you...
Kochi, how far do we expect the swamp to be?
Well, if all goes well, shouldn't be more than a couple of days.
We will need traveling equipment. As I look over at Spike. I assume, Kochi, that will be in supplies given to us?
Yes. The supplies should have rations and some ropes and some other things. I believe you could ask the men at the gates if there anything else you may need or any other further supplies. I'll make sure to make a note of it, that if you make any personal request, they try to fulfill it.
Very well. Spike?
Got nothing else.
All right, we'll head to the northeast gate.
Yes.
They should be expecting you.
Hopefully we will see you soon.
Hopefully. I'll get that platinum ready. Hopefully.
Take a couple steps towards the door. And I'll pause and turn back with a little bit of a cheeky smile on my face and say, Kochi, since we are hopefully not entering conflict and hopefully not fighting large creatures, is there anything you can tell us that we certainly might not face in this hellish waste?
Giant dragons.
Good.
Yeah. You're definitely not going to face those. Not giant, huge, lumbering dragons. Those have long been dead. We killed them all. It's... Hopefully.
As we exit. Well, a big task, a great journey away, with more hope than I would care for.
Hopefully. Ain't nothing gonna go wrong.
Well, my shield and sword will be at your back, or out in front of you should something go wrong. But yes, as much as we can avoid it, that would be ideal. Do you need anything from your home? Or any other supplies that you might not find at the gates?
Nah, I think I'm good. Just go and get our supplies and get out there.
If need be, that time be killed, we can always do so at the gates before departure. I have no reason to go home or dilly-dally.
So just get to it.
As we make our way to the gates.
Cool. You guys cross the city, go to the northeast gate. As you guys are heading towards the gate, there's a good amount of guard that are kind of patrolling this area. And as you get closer, they'll flag you down, ask your business.
These are guards?
Yeah, guards of the city.
Not glove wearing.
Not glove wearing.
As far as I am concerned, who would have more authority?
The guard can kill you, you can't kill the guard.
I'd go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to get an idea of the stance of our organization.
Yeah. If you were... Yeah. I could feel that would probably be the most succinct way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to attempt to kill a guard, they could kill you. They're protecting the city.
Sure. I don't think I like the guards very much, so I will let Spike do all of the explaining while I just once again place my hand on my pommel.
Boy, fellas, what's your business?
We got a job to do out in the wastelands.
He kind of looks you over. Oh, you're a runner. All right, come here. He kind of brings you into essentially the tunnel that would be formed where the gate is. And as you kind of like begin to walk past, you kind of begin to lower into the ground. Your elevation begins to change. And as you kind of keep walking, there's completely surrounded. It kind of keeps going for a little bit, and then it kind of opens up into a bit of a wider area where you could see there are some level of soldiers that are just kind of generally walking around, soldiers in guard. They're kind of walking around. You see a very similar kind of opening kind of desk, and it kind of directs you to, talk to him.
I think I would be in this place even more vigilant about looking around, as now there are outwardly armed people who have the authority to kill me.
Yeah.
Or Spike.
Yeah.
I would just be more actively keeping an eye on everybody.
Yeah. These are armed soldiers and armed guard. Everyone has levels of different armaments and armors, and even levels of like arcane battlement, like everything. Yeah. Spike, you walk up to the person he directs you to.
Mm-hmm.
Goes, all right. Let me see your glove.
I present him my glove.
Kind of looks it over, scans it with a little thing. You see a little readout on a little monitor he has. I was like, okay, this is Coachy's job. Kind of walks back into an area, comes back with 2 packs. I was like, all right, here's some Wasteland gear. You've got rations in there. You've got oil flasks. You've got torches. You've got a tinderbox. There's a lantern in there. It's a hooded one. Coachy says if you guys want anything in particular, you can ask for it. Is there anything else you might need or switch out?
Are spyglasses as rare in this world?
You can ask for one.
Well, I wouldn't if I knew that they were a fucking 1,000 gold, like they are in classic D&D for no reason.
I would like to say in this more advanced society that they would be more readily available. But also, we have been sticking pretty hard to the PHB. And I'll say with the PHB, which is the rarity and the expense of them.
Okay, I want a grappling hook.
All right, grappling hook. You already have 50 feet of rope in there. You should be good. Need anything?
Do our packs come with like bedrolls or tents?
You have a bedroll. You have the backpack. You have a crowbar.
I imagine it's an explorer's pack.
It's a modified explorer's pack.
Yeah, explorer's pack times 2.
More rations, a crowbar. I'll list you out what's actually there. So it's a backpack, a bedroll, crowbar, 4 flasks of oil, a hooded lantern. You could sub it with a bullseye if you want to.
Okay.
10 days of ration, 50 feet of rope, a tinderbox, 4 torches, and a water skin. And it is full.
Can I get a healer's kit?
Is that regular adventuring gear?
I don't know if it's in the PHP, but it is a pretty standard item. I'm pretty sure it's PHP.
It is.
It just stabilizes.
Sure.
It's a tool.
Sure.
I'm not proficient in it, but, I could still... Oh, that was smart.
Yeah, that was dice on the floor.
That was dice all over the floor. Yeah, I could still make a roll on it and potentially stabilize if Spike falls.
Sure. Yeah,
or vice versa, he would know it's in my pack.
Yeah. He'll give you that.
Cook's utensils. It's fine. It's fine. We got rations. Can I get a superior potion of heal?
Oh, yeah. No worries, bud. I got you. Here's a mega super potion.
You know, Vorpal sword?
How many rations?
10 days of rations.
I think you said we got extra. That's standard. You fuck. Oh, 11 days of rations. Okay. That's all we need.
I was like, all right. Hands you over a little, almost looks like a remote clicker, like a switch. All right. When you reach the end of the trench line, You're going to go ahead and click that thing. It should give you some cover fire. Let you kind of run past no man's land. You're just going to keep running until you can't run no more.
Above table. Would we know? Is just outside of this city no man's land?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're immediately getting. There was no hopefully about this. We're immediately getting into conflict.
Well, sort of.
Yes. I imagine it's been a while since we've done a trip into the Wasteland. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll say
just a bit of time.
Yeah, I'll say Wasteland stuff is rare.
Yeah.
You have done a Wasteland job for Gantz. You have done a Wasteland job for Kochi. You have done a couple for a couple of other mages, but most of it is to the south.
Okay.
You have probably never and only heard stories of people going north.
I'll just look over at Spike. Hopefully, right? Hopefully.
At this point, certainly.
So, end of the trench. We press this, cover fire happens, and then we run.
Yeah, stick northeast. Keep running.
And how long till we won't need cover fire?
Well, it'll be firing. Hopefully by the end of the volley, you'll be safe.
There's that word again.
A runner's life. Are we free to go?
Yeah, if y'all geared out, you start making your way.
I will grab my gear and turn my back on this person because I don't like guards and start making my way.
Is exiting from the north the same as exiting from the south? So there's no cover fire for the south when we have to go out there?
I don't think you need it in the south, so there's no war in the south.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be accommodated for if needed. Every direction from the city can have cover fire. It's just in the moment currently, yeah, exiting north, you're going to need some cover fire.
How do we get back in?
Oh, sorry. He would have explained that. Like, the switch is important. Don't lose it.
Same thing. We press the switch and then we run
press
towards...
switch and then you run back.
I will hand the switch over to the person responsible for equipment. Spike,
All right.
you have the switch.
As you guys kind of enter, again, still this enclosed... What happened? Oh.
Your hand signals that you established.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
I'm
That was,
asking if...
no. It was unintentional.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, I thought you were signaling time. But
Between my character's names and hand signals you established.
oh, sorry, I was just gesturing. I was being Italian for a moment. It was just you guys continue to move forward. There is there is a gate, or essentially a gate that you can start exiting out of, and that opens up for you as you guys are approaching, and that is where you could see the beginnings of the trench lines outside of the city. You guys continue forward.
Yeah.
And as you guys enter into the trench lines, you begin to see the outside world. And as you guys are walking through, you could, as this perspective away from the city, you begin to see the kind of shimmer and the general barriers of various fields that protect the city as you guys are making your way out into the trenches. Continuing to walk forward.
This is like safety barriers that we are exiting, right?
Yeah, you are still within the line of barriers, but you are
coming to.
Yeah, you are entering the trench lines that are within the barriers.
Okay.
And you guys are beginning to exit. Continue to make your way forward. And you can see that the skies outside of the city are choked. They're grays, pallid, pale skies. Every once in a while, oh shit, I forgot I forgot a big part of the whole thing. Sorry, backtrack, reverse a little bit. As part of the guy giving you equipment, you guys need to get your filters. You need to get your or you guys could have them already on you. It doesn't make sense in the city to have them, but your your fractal filters.
Okay.
So you already decided what yours looked like, correct?
Yeah, I sent you something.
Yeah. So it is essentially, it's a little, so however you want to place it, the majority of the filter is this very thin kind of chainmail shirt that you wear that kind of presses against your body. And it has a couple of lines out that connect to an object. And that object is about the size of, let's say, a grapefruit. And that object can be on your shoulder, it could be on your back, it could be on your head, it could be anywhere that's kind of exposed up and out. So I believe Sav had something akin to like a lotus or like a flower.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had anything in mind, Gray, of what
I completely forgot about this part.
Some type of repeating pattern.
some sort of, think of like a,
Do you have any creature or item or flower or anything like that your character would care about? Like if you were like a necromancer, you might want like a spider or something, or a skeleton or something like that.
classically
That could become a fractal pattern.
Yeah, classically, one of the designs could be like the inside of a knowledge shell, which is like that Fibonacci sequence. So that is an option.
Spirals or just repeating
Yeah, like
shapes.
Like a spiral horn.
So you do that. And that is something that you'll have attached to you. As soon as you exit the perimeter of the city, you will need this filter on you in order for any of your spells to work, any of your special gifts that your body has. You will need this filter on you and kind of like attached to you. I forgot about that whole part of the lore and world building of the place you're
Of
in.
your own world.
Yep. I remembered as I was gonna describe what the city looked like as you turned back. But yeah, sky, choked, gray, couple of spots in the sky kind of look like the iridescent shine on the top of an oil slick. You have that kind of rainbow pattern that kind of hits a couple of points in the sky. And then behind you, you can see immediately the first barrier that is on the city is opaque, like a white. And that is where the sky is projected from the inside. And then right above this, almost like caressing the entire shape of the orb, is a series of this fractal branch-like pattern of what looks like a giant, almost like tree-like canopy that goes over the entire existence of the city. And you can see there are points in which there are like center cones. And that is those big spikes or those big sheer towers that you see on the inside of the city that all go up. They all go up from the city and connect into this giant
Dome
network of fractal branch-like thing that covers the city to essentially force and to bring magic down into the city to fuel it. That is the source of magic that they can bring into the city. And then I will say, out of your curiosity, before general history of the world, part of this 1,000-year war is the ley lines are broken in this world. Magic just is arrested, or magic is just kind of stagnant in the air. It does not move, if not called. The fractal patterns help call magic to you. Without it, magic is in pockets of the world and just kind of sits there. But yeah, you guys continue to move forward into the trench lines. And then you could see a little bit in front of you of what the wasteland looks like to the north. It is gray. It is lifeless. There's not a lot that you could really see beyond the kind of edges of the trench lines that you could see. There are pockets of where explosions and earth has been kind of dug out and dug apart. And then in these pockets, you could see these gray, colorless, more fractal patterns, more like bismuth, more like carved in angular lines that kind of rip into the earth around where these explosions are. And then even some of these rocks and boulders and debris where some of this stuff has hit, the rocks themselves and the debris are locked in space. So you have explosion and gouges, and you have sheer rocks and shit that have flung into the air but are locked in place in space.
Like floating, but unmoving.
Floating and
like
unmoving.
Frozen in the air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys continue to move through the trench lines, and as you're moving through the trench lines, each time you pass a gate where there is another one of these barriers that protect the city, and you begin to enter more and more of the actual wasteland outside of the protections of the city. And the last barrier you pass, and you begin to walk into and through the trench lines out northeast. You kind of duck your head, not wanting to be exposed, continue to move as far as the trench lines will take you. Look, I'm trying to figure this out.
As he's trying to figure out his
own
hand signals for
he gave to
calling
me
the
for
song.
music.
Look, man, there's a lot. This is why I don't do music. It's a lot to consider. I just don't think about music.
It's a lot to consider. Literally offloaded all of the music cultivation and playing of the music to me. All he has to do is tell me to play it.
Yeah.
Too much. It's too much.
Yeah,
Look,
I don't do any music.
We set up the hand signals, Germanically,
Yeah.
all right, instead of
Yeah.
Anglo-ly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem.
I think I need signs. I need a little stick that you put.
You just forget those two. You don't need more things.
Yeah, just like ambient, tension, combat.
The auction hand signs.
But yeah, you guys begin to make your way through the trench lines. It's a pretty extensive network as you guys are beginning to kind of move.
Are there folk here that we're passing?
On your way out of the barriers, there were soldiers stationed at these gates at each kind of barrier entrance. Sparser and sparser as the more gates that you passed. Past the outside gate, as you are into the wasteland, there is no soldiers. There is nobody else in these trench lines. You are alone as you are making your way northeast. Continue to go, probably 5-10 minutes pass as you are continuing to go. You are aware that there is a point in which the trench lines will stop moving northeast. Continue to go. And then you do hear like a and behind you, probably about 50 or 100 feet, you see giant explosion hit kind of in the back trench line on the other opposite side of where you are. A similar thing where an explosion happens and you see the debris kind of burst off from it as some of that dust is kind of locked in stasis.
Is any of it bursting in our direction, or is it all lock?
It's all in the direction it came from.
Okay.
Hit behind you and then
So away from us.
Away from you. And then you see another one and it starts to kind of head towards your direction as it's kind of making its way towards you.
Oh, it's like carpeting towards us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I will notice that, and immediately, just because I always walk behind you, just kind of grab not your collar, but the back of your shirt or armor or whatever it is, to kind of just push you a little bit forward as it's time to fucking move.
Mm.
But I will try to keep as towering a shadow over you as possible, so that if anything hits us, it's hitting me.
Okay.
All right. We get to the end, I suppose.
Yeah. You guys begin to kind of rush. Every once in a while, this volley that's kind of carpeting behind you kind of continues to hit. But as you can see, you can start seeing it in the distance as kind of this snaking tunnel line. You can start seeing the end of the trench line ahead of you.
Let's shout out. Well, short-lived, but I suppose we've left the land of hope.
Certainly. As we rush out there, I'll get the switch ready.
Okay.
And I assume we've approached the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hit the switch.
Okay. And then behind you, kind of in these barriers to the city, you can see parts of it kind of like open up relatively quickly, and then just an insane volley of different kind of color and assorted beams and munitions and armament all fire off in kind of the northeast direction. You just see kind of just over your head to kind of to your right behind you. Yeah. You see a giant volley of just shit just going and just firing. And then you guys are at the end of the trench line. Just make your way up and over.
Yeah.
Jump over, begin to bum rush. And in here you could see these arcing paths just hitting to the northeast in a pretty far distance away from you, but still a very big bombardment kind of covering you. And you see every once in a while kind of stray fire back in your direction, but for the most part, this cover is providing everything you need to make sure that you're not being solely targeted.
Okay. And we are just like, I imagine, keeping our eyes out so that if anything's coming towards us, we could duck and dodge and whatnot. And overall, we're just running now.
You're just running.
I would like to take a moment. I am focused on running, so I'm willing to do this at disadvantage, but I want to see where these volleys are coming from on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
If I could look around, I think there'd be enough curiosity in me of like, what is throwing these spells from both sides?
So from your perspective, the closest thing to you, kind of like a created gap that you could see in the various barriers that protect the city. You can see that gap has opened up to look at what looks like an array of almost like cannons from like a battleship that are all just firing kind of almost continuously, firing off what at the center looks like could be a shell, but they are completely surrounded by various different lights, some blue, some purple, some prismatic, some red. It is various glowing assortment. It is beautiful in its array of colors, but understanding what is happening on the other end of this is like, it's not so pretty. But it is all firing to the northeast. And you can even see as you kind of look from there to there, or from the city to where it's firing upon, every once in a while you'll see a fire out of a shell. And you can see it is to your northeast or north. Yeah, north. You are heading northwest. It is northeast. So all north direction, it is probably...
We're headed northwest?
Yeah, you are heading northwest.
Okay.
The volley and where everything is coming from is northeast.
Okay.
But you guys continue to run. And then over the edge of a summit, you could see that there is a little bit of a place where in front of you, the earth kind of goes down a little bit. There is this place where you can kind of tuck back under.
Dive into.
Yeah, dive into. You guys go, run, dive into that. As you guys stop, take your breath, kind of survey around you, kind of probably a little numb, chest a little burning a little bit from the intense cardio. You can see that in here is kind of like a flat, a pretty big kind of sunken in area of earth. Almost looks like it is all dug out, like a man-made dug out, and a pretty big flat area. But this has all been bombarded. You are in a place where you could see that there are like mortar rounds or mortar artillery that have kind of been torn apart. There are various kinds of smaller explosions kind of around you. And you could see that there are also body parts that are scattered in this kind of little area that you're in. You are in an enemy entrenchment.
Mm-hmm.
You are in an enemy entrenchment line. You guys get up and kind of survey your surroundings.
Sure. Is there... So we're getting further away from where the volleys are coming from the enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is old.
This is old.
Sure.
Yeah. There's no like... I mean, you can approach any of the various objects or things around.
I think mostly I'd be looking, you could do whatever you want, but I'd be looking for just a way out to continue moving northwest because in my mind, we are in a place that has already been hit either by our side, which is what this looks like, but also this is or was the front line at one point of the enemy's side. To me, we're still very much in range and we're living within the pits of where damage happened. So I want us to keep moving, personally.
I'll take my backpack, put the switch in there, and I'll get the compass, and I'll take a look at it. Make sure that we're still heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
And as I go around the trenches, probably following behind, Karik, right? Karik. It's been said so many times the wrong way. Check it. Rick.
Yeah, you're following Carrot.
I'm gonna have to start naming my characters names that you guys can understand. This is Sam.
I get Karik.
This is Peter.
No, I'll still mess it up. I'll still.
I know you will.
I'll probably still, be lagging behind him, just making sure that when we're going around that we're still situated in the right direction.
Yeah. This particular kind of pit that you're in is still leading you in the direction that you need to go. And as far as you can see in front of you, it moves in the direction that you need to move forward. So you can continue to move forward.
I will leave my weapons sheathed, but I will remove my shield from my back. Just to give me that little bit of boon of protection, and I can also potentially use it to guard Spike.
Yeah. You guys continue to move forward. You could see not too distant in front of you. You could see the opening of what looks like a tunnel system to kind of continue to go in a direction. It's going flat into
tunnel or trench.
So you are in like a trench pit.
Yeah.
And then that trench pit kind of walls off into a tunnel system.
Okay. I assume going above ground means being visible in targets. There's really nowhere to go but into the tunnels. Okay. Unlike when we walk through a city and I walk ahead of you to cut down anyone that looks at us wrong, I think in this instance I'm more acting as your shield, so I'm probably behind you. So I'm following you.
All right.
In this instance, till we get into the tunnel, more than likely.
All right. Yeah, I'll probably be following the trenches till we hit that tunnel.
Okay. Okay. You start entering the tunnels. It is dark in here. As soon as you kind of exit out of the light from above, from outside, inside of this tunnel network, it's all dark. You guys gonna move forward? And use your torches?
We have no lights.
You have your tinder boxes, you have torches, you have your lantern, you have oil.
Yeah, but there's no active light at the moment, right?
No active light. You're heading towards darkness.
I got my dark vision.
Okay.
You fuck. I'm gonna put my shield away and I'm gonna pull out both of my hand axes and just quietly in this tunnel lean over to Spike and say, if you wouldn't mind lighting a lantern.
I forget. One moment. And I will go.
Oh, actually, hold on. I'm just realizing something. I don't say any of that.
No, elves have. Yeah.
Half elves still have dark vision, I guess. Apparently. I thought half elves did not.
Yeah, it's all 60 feet grades, right?
I know elves do, yeah. Yep.
Unless you're a gnome.
So we're fine. Fucking dump that shit out. We don't even need the lights. Just carrying extra weight. I won't say that. So instead, as you are fine and I am fine and we could both see in this cave, I will, like I said, stow my shield back on my back and pull out 2 hand axes. As if I see anything moving at all, I'm throwing axes at them.
As you enter into this area, kind of going from your color shades into your grays that you recognize immediately. I've lost outside light. I'm relying on
60 feet of gray.
On my dark vision. Begin to move in. You can see you're the area that you first enter in, this whole area is man-made, reinforced. There's wood and various materials that kind of keep this tunnel system up and kind of aloft. And you can see there are lines that kind of run from the roof and kind of along the front from the roof and out into a separate hallway that goes either direction. But the room that you are in currently looks like there are a couple of tables set up, but it's empty. There's not anything really in here.
I'll take a second and pause. Is there any stone around here or just the wood? I know it's dirt, right, mostly.
There's stonework that is the side of the tunnel, and there probably are a couple of loose stone pieces kind of around.
I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to take one of my axes, and on the actual head of the axe, I'm just going to clink it against a stone. Not very hard, just a little clink, just to hear how it echoes. How much does it echo through these tunnels? Or is it pretty dampened with dirt?
There's a dampening to it, but you could tell that there is... You at least get an idea that there is a distance, that there is... This isn't a small number.
But I could hear the echo.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got distance, but also I was trying to determine if noise travels very well through these tunnels. Because then I will take a moment and kind of, with one of my axes, do the, like, shush gesture. And let us just sit here, in rest, waiting for the volleys up top to stop, if they seem like they will. And then I would like to listen to see if I can hear anyone further down these tunnels or not.
Oh, the volley probably stopped as soon as you were out of sight
visible
from the city.
Either way, that's fine. So just taking a moment for whatever chains or whatever we have to settle, and listening deeper down in the tunnel to see if we can hear anything. If there's any movement, like I could hear my clink through the tunnels, so there's some level of sound that travels.
You want to give me a perception check?
Yeah. Don't worry, I know I'm like thinking way too much about this.
No, you're fine.
But also, I have a +0, so you don't have to reveal anything because I'm going to fail. I got an 18.
Hey! As you guys kind of settle down, after your tap from your axe?
Yeah. Hand axe. I'm dual wielding hand axes at the moment.
It is almost extraordinarily quiet. Don't really hear much. No rumbling, no noise, not even the movement of like animals, not even the patter of a rat or some sort of carrion feeder. Nothing.
I will stand up and I will give you a nod, but step ahead of you. It's because, frontline fighter, backline caster. You ready?
As I'll ever be.
All right. Slow, steady, and quiet. As we will start to move.
You move into the first section of the hallway, and you can see that there's like those lines that are connected to the room that you're in that go into both hallways. And one is going in the direction that you assume you need to go to based off the direction you need to head. And then you begin to walk down that path. And within the first minute of you beginning to walk, you could start seeing there is a body in front of you, kind of leaned down and against the wall. So in the grays, you begin to see this out. The edges of your vision as you're starting to walk towards it.
Unmoving?
Unmoving.
Okay.
And as you're seeing that body as you're walking towards it, more in this gray light that you're beginning to see, you see more slumped bodies as you were kind of walking towards them.
If I didn't know any better, I would say we are back in Gantz's lab.
They ain't screaming.
Perhaps they are more lucky.
Possibly.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll continue.
And then to answer that question of whether or not they were better off, as you begin to approach and get more detail of this one of the first body that you see, you could see that as your grays begin to clarify and begin to get more detail on this face and this body, you could see parts of the skin seem to have melted away from its bone and its muscle. And even parts look like the track marks of fingers that have kind of clawed its own way into its flesh and into the side of its own neck. As you could see, the shirt itself looks like some of the buttons have been torn off as it's kind of tried to claw away at whatever this thing that kind of began to melt or take away or putrefy its skin as it's laying kind of mouth open and a gaunt on the floor.
Is there anything, just looking at my character sheet, note valuables, is there anything that looks valuable on one of these bodies?
You can give me another perception check.
Okay. Perception or investigation?
Well, investigation, yes.
I'm bad at both,
Sorry.
so fine. I just have the note valuables as part of my background. I figured I'd give it a go for a story beat. No.
What did,
No.
what'd you roll?
7.
7? I will say you don't see anything immediately, but I will say generally, with your understanding of the world, if these soldiers are equipped for magical combat, even the enemy side, even the coalition, has some form of filters. And that chain that you wear, the chain shirt that you wear close to your body, is made out of iridium, which is an alloy of platinum. And you know that that has value, that you can bring that back, you can collect it, and you can bring that back and find sources to sell it for a decent amount of money.
Okay. Would it be easy to retrieve from this body?
You just have to essentially strip it.
Sure. I will, not in this moment, rip it, but I will kind of like pull open whatever lapels or whatever to reveal it, and then kind of just, because it's metallic, clink my axe on it, kind of showing Spike, like, yeah, there's valuables on these people who have died out here in some hole. I'll say, fools die in war for glory, while men like us die out here for gold. In the same holes, though. We should pick some of this up on our way back.
Thinking the same thing. But I am not dying for gold. There's hopefully platinum in this.
Hopefully.
Platinum in these shirts as well.
Also what I was thinking.
A nod. A lot of bodies. A lot of iridium. But that would be a lot to carry. And there's no sense carrying it if we're going to die out here, so only if we are making our way back.
It's our bonus on the return.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Continue down the tunnels.
You continue to go. Every once in a while, there is, to your left or to your right, there's an opening to, a different kind of room.
We go right to the west, to the front line of the enemy.
All right, you guys go. Let's...
New campaign.
All right. Go.
Throwing axe.
You guys,
Fireball, I'm dead.
You guys are now on the front line. You hear a mortar begin to fire off. It hits you. You're both just dead immediately. No saving throw.
Got my backup character, Jarek.
This is a fractalized volley of anti-magic plus force damage. So you're just gone.
Love it. Continue in the direction following the compass, though every once in a while I'll probably have to stop and look back and make sure that... I assume you would tell me, but still.
Yeah.
Because I am walking ahead, even though I'm not the navigator.
Yeah. Again, there are bodies lining these hallways, and then to your right or left is Various times there are different doors. Some look like they open to bigger rooms than others. One to your left looks like it was potentially a sleeping barracks, where you could see that there are various bodies that are hanging off of beds, some still lying in bed. Some look like they were trying to rush their way out of the barracks but have made their way to the floor.
Whatever this acid that melted them is, or magic, or creature, I hope it doesn't dwell in this place still.
I hope it was one of ours.
Don't know that that matters. And I hope that it doesn't dwell in this place still.
Just saying, I hope it's that we sent whatever this was, and it's not a creature. It was a thing.
Weapon. I understand.
What state of decay are these people in?
Various. Are you going to kind of inspect any of them?
Not too thoroughly.
Yeah. It's various. Some of them look like the amount of skin slop off, or even their own fighting of what was happening to them. Some look like they're almost the entire skull is exposed. Some look like it's very much just the surface level, and there is a level of their face that looks almost as if they died asphyxiated and then necessarily died from the putrefaction. You guys continue moving?
Mm-hmm.
As you guys finish this conversation, there is a noise behind you that you are some levels of familiar with in terms of Gant's lab. You hear a low, harsh breath without breath, like a behind you.
And I think we've discovered what Gantz's monsters are. We should move faster. Unless you rather rid it of its existence.
How old does this place... How abandoned does this place seem? Like, how long ago was, like, the last person through here, maybe?
You can give me, like, intelligence or investigation. Whatever's better for you.
They're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no. The investigation's better because I got the +1 to everything. I have no idea what it is. I got no idea what it is. It's a natural one.
Well, let me be a kind DM. Your passives are 11 and 12 for investigation and intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, just based off of when you first entered into this space, the amount of dust that was in the air that was shining off of the light from the outside, and then even when you were kind of casually glancing around, you would assume it has been years since anything has kind of moved through these hallways. You don't know how extensive those years could be. It could be decades. It could be, as long as this war has been, it could be centuries. But it has been some time that has passed here. You don't know the Coalition well enough. Or you might not know the Coalition well enough. I can give you a history check.
That's also a +2. 8.
You don't know the Coalition well enough. You can't discern the age of the uniform, the pattern of the armor. And much like when you were leaving your barracks, there seems to be a unified variation of the armors and the outfit and the clothing that your soldiers wear, that your army wears, that you come from. And you see a similar typing, although slightly different, much like Dodgers versus Blue Jays, uniform. There is a difference here, but you can't well discern how old this uniform of the Coalition might be.
Okay.
But as far as you're aware, it has been some time.
I will look over to... Actually, I will keep my eyes back in the tunnels towards that sound and say to Spike... I'll say to you, Spike, we do need to come back this way. So the choice would be, if that thing is waiting for us, we can face it now or we can face it later. We might die en route to later, in which case we don't need to face it at all. But if we do face it later, we might be doing so without resources.
We can die on the way there or the way back. I figure we might as well get the dying out of the way quick.
So face it now.
Indeed.
I will step on the other side of you, because now we're going backwards. But as I pass you, I will make another offhand comment about the creatures being poor. Like, I don't know what these creatures are that Gantz tortures. Putting them down would be a mercy. And as I step past you, and mercy gets soldiers and runners killed alike. As I get my axes ready, facing now back down the wrong way of these tunnels to the sound of that breathing.
And as the breathing begins to get louder, kind of gets a little closer towards you, you can see at the outside edges of your vision, you see a shambling shape on two legs, kind of hunched over. And in the details you can make, you could see that there is a familiarity to this. You could see the face, and you could see the claw marks. You could see that this had the face of that soldier that you tapped his hilt on. You could see the claws into the face, the claws into the side, as it's kind of rocked over, head tilted, rocking towards you as it's making its way towards you.
As it makes its way towards us, how quickly is it moving?
Not very. It's shambling towards you.
How far is it? Well, within 60 feet.
It's within 60 feet.
Sure. It doesn't look like we're in a rush in any way?
No.
It doesn't look like a homunculus. It looks like one of these coalition guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will let it get 10 feet
It
close.
is that coalition guy that you tapped.
Oh, it is that one.
It is the familiar markings, how the shirt was sundered. It was the one that you tapped his cloak, or his body.
Oh, good. I'm actually going to take a step back intentionally into Spike and say, I think actually we should leave. That is the same one that I showed you, which means all of these bodies could get up.
Say no more. I'll start backing up as well.
Yeah, I will take rear this time since the threats are behind us. We're going to start boogieing out in the direction we're supposed to be running.
As you start running, you could see kind of, as you were waiting for this thing to come towards you,
Yeah.
the outer edges of that 60 feet range.
That's why I was
you
going to wait
see-
for 10 feet to see if more were going to be there.
You see more, and you hear more in this hallway, more in some of these side rooms.
Yeah. Spike, as I'll actually start like turning around, walking sideways, still looking backwards, I think it's time to start running.
As you guys begin to run, I need both of you to give me dexterity saves. Because there are bodies on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna do as you asked and move to oh fuck, what's it called? Okay. What's it called? Deathcom. Deathcom. Move to Deathcom 3.
You were, but
Yeah. Well, there's bodies. We'll get through the agility checks. Agility? What game are we playing?
dexterity saves.
Dexterity saves?
Yeah.
16.
Nice.
Oh, I'm certainly gonna pass. My save. 18.
Very aware of your surroundings and what's happening. You are very mindful of the steps you take, avoiding the bodies. It gets, in parts of these hallways, it gets thick. And in some areas, it's spilling out from some of these rooms where you see just whatever had gotten to these men has kind of collapsed over. They were rushing out, probably even beside themselves, rushing against each other and collapsed these doorways. And as you're running, as the noise and echoes of your feet travel behind you, coming back behind towards you is a growing cacophony of these voices, more and more sounding like you're back inside of Gant's lab. More and more you hear and various bodies hitting the side walls, continuing to move forward as you are running and running and running. Your best hope of direction is following the logic of the trenches and the barracks that you know. These lines that help support and feed communication and even some mage work of this, the things above you in this tunnel. You are following it. It is roughly in the direction that you are trying to go. It curves right, or it curves left, it curves right. There's some momentum to it. In pockets you hit where there are no bodies, surprisingly enough. You still run into them again, continuing to go. And at the edges of your vision, you begin to see light. You begin to see an exit out, running towards it. You begin to hit out back into one of these similar kinds of open pits. And you guys are out of the tunnels. And as you exit the tunnels, you still hear behind you levels of noise. And above you, instead of the sky being choked as you're familiar from the wastelands that you come from, and even as far as you've gone south, still the choked gray skies that you're, as far as you're aware, exist in the outside world. Above you, clear skies. Real skies. Skies beyond, not the projected image of what a sky looks like from Thalor. You recognize this as something you've probably never or rarely have seen in your life.
As we're looking at that, and we still hear the
that
creeping, shambling things behind us, obviously still moving forward a little bit, but probably in awe, is now it's not this like weird dome city thing that we live in, but just open world, right?
Mm-hmm.
With sunlight and shit like that. Quietly, in a very defeatist tone, say to Spike, I've often wondered what the Coalition lives like. Perhaps we live in the wrong place. And perhaps the Coalition is the better side. But they're not the ones that fill our purses.
Could just be that the Coalition brought us the life that we have.
Yes, but our side has Gantz. As I'll look back to the caves. How are we going to get back through?
Are they still shambling out towards us? Have they exited the tunnels?
You guys are fast enough to have not immediately be chased out of where you are, but the level and growth of noise is resonating out of this tunnel. You still are like within a trench system. You are just on the other side of it, in a pit. You can see the sky, but you can't really see the horizon. But it leads out. You can continue to move forward in the direction you need to go.
We can't go back the way that we came, if we make it back.
You've essentially exited like the side of a mountain.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Just to give you further clarifying of like, what you look back on is essentially the side of a kind of almost sheer facing mountain that enters back into kind of like a pitted back end of like a valley or like a hill. You are still within trench work.
Perhaps that's for another time as we move away from the Horde.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
All right. What's the compass say?
Pull out the compass. What does it say?
You look at the compass. It points you still out a little bit to the left of the exit of the trench work that you're in, but you could still use the trench work to get into the direction you need to go. As you look at your compass, I will say, Gray, something to your left kind of catches your eye. And you look over and you could see that kind of pitted, stuck into the ground, kind of near the edges and the walls of the trench work. You see something very familiar to you. You see something that you may have seen in Kochi's lab. You see what looks like a filter design. Probably about the size of a basketball. It looks like a filter designed from your empire that is spiked into the side of the trench. You're familiar enough with the Coalition's filters. You've seen them before. They look more gridded, more angular, almost like the back of like an AC unit, but in a Fibonacci sequence where it kind of grows in a bigger pattern, but it is sharper lines. This is smooth work. This is more artistic.
Work. Would this mean anything to me? Aside from it being like, oh, this is obviously one of ours.
It's obviously one of yours, but it's curious to see what looks like a bigger filter kind of stuck into the dirt.
Can I inspect it in some manner?
Sure.
So get up, take a look at it, get a closer look at it.
Yeah.
Is it like staked into the ground? Was it look like it was placed here? Or was it look like it landed here?
Give me I'll see if you can beat your passive. Your passive of investigation. No. If it was staked hard. It looks like it may have landed here. And as you kind of look around the base of this filter, you can see there is a shaft that you can see that kind of looks like it digs into the ground.
Would I have any idea like what the purpose of this filter would be?
As far as you're aware, the filters are used to essentially get magic freed from the world and make it useful. You know, at least as far as your city, what the city does is has a giant branch work above it, and it pumps the magic into your local area by pumping it into the ground through those giant shafts.
Mm-hmm.
So the best you could surmise is this thing is here to gather magic, to make it usable in the area.
And I figure with that knowledge, I'd understand that there's something. This was placed here to create some sort of magical effect or to sustain a magical effect, because if it wasn't there, the magical effect would just stop. How easy is it to destroy a filter?
Probably not very hard. Some of the metals are very thin.
Would I know if there's a negative reaction of some sort?
As far as you're aware now.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I'll just keep that in mind. Ooh, I guess that's a better question. Would I know if the shambling creatures that were in there, would they be due to a magical effect or due to something else?
I mean, your familiarity with something like that moves like that or does things like that would be Gantz's lab. And you know, I mean, Gantz's lab and in the workshop is nothing but magic. It is. Everything is magically sustained there. So, probably as much as you would be able to gather.
Okay. Turn to Carrick. Right? Carrick. There we go.
Cargo, vroom, vroom, Carrick.
Yes, Carrick. It's been said wrong so many times. The well's been poisoned.
Sorry. Not by me.
I put you on a bad foot.
Has been poisoned.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have put shambling dead in front of you.
I think that filter might be sustaining them.
Might be what?
Sustaining them.
The shambling creatures.
If they're anything like back at Gantz's lab.
I haven't seen you touch this thing, right?
No, I haven't touched it.
Okay. Should I try to remove it from the ground?
Pretty sure it's dug in there pretty deep.
This is of the same thing like the ones we wear on our back, or it is larger than that?
The ones on your back are probably about the size of like a big orange, like a grapefruit. This is probably a little bit bigger than a basketball.
Not huge. Well, I can try at the very least.
If you want to try, I won't stop you.
The noise is getting louder from the end of that tunnel.
If it gives us a way home.
Could always try smashing it.
I don't have very good smashing implements. I'll look at my hand axes. I'll try it first. I'm going to put my hand axes away first. Actually, I'll just place them down on the ground next to it on either side. I'm going to try and just rip this thing out of the ground if I can.
Give me a strength check.
Strength or athletics?
Athletics.
It's a critical success. Which would be overall a 25.
As you go and kind of place your hands around this, you begin to pull, and there is, for a moment, there is almost a hum you can feel in your fingertips. Not too dissimilar from sometimes when you hold on to your own filter for any extended amount of time. Like, you feel it. You feel the purpose of what this thing does, but it doesn't feel like it's something you should pull away from. And as you begin to lift, even your hands kind of scrunch into the metal a little bit, and for a moment you feel like, oh, I kind of feel how long this thing is, the spike in the ground is. But as you begin to pull, you tug, and almost the side of the trench work, the rock loosens a little bit as you, and the dirt loosens as you kind of shift it, and you begin to feel it begin to tear out of the ground, and you realize you have to take another couple of steps back in order to fully retrieve this thing from the wall, and you pull it out, and you pull out what is about a 4 to 5 foot spike that is in the ground at the end of this filter. Now you have this giant filter with about a 4 foot spike at the end of it.
I turn and look at the tunnels. Do I still hear zombies?
You still hear them.
Okay. I'm going to place it down on the ground at an angle and try and stomp to break off the spike.
Sure. As you go down and you angle it just right to kind of break off this spike, break off the spike. You can see the metal is there. It is not solid. It is hollow. And even as you look at it, you wonder how even this thing is as sturdy as it feels in places. You still hear noise. You still hear sound behind you.
Huh?
It's going to be one of those 99th percentile things.
They're still coming. So let's just stop moving. And I'm just going to pick up my axes one by one and put them in like sheaths, and then I'm going to take this basketball phylactery thing and just tuck it under my arm, and I'm going to carry it with me.
Okay.
Unless the person with Arcana tells me otherwise.
Who says I have Arcana?
I'm assuming. Could be wrong, I suppose. More so knowledge than I do.
Missing all these failed intelligence-based checks.
It's true. So I suppose move away from the shambling sounds.
All right. You guys begin to move out towards the trenches, towards the exits, towards the direction you want to go. Continue to move. Curiosity probably striking you as you kind of begin to turn the corner away as you look back to see from the tunnels. You do see some of these shambling creatures begin to exit the tunnel. And as they begin to exit, you can see that as their steps are already shaky, they do begin to falter as they're exiting the tunnel. And some you see begin to fall on a knee and then slump over and hit the ground. Still some attempts with the arms to kind of claw over themselves as they continue to exit, and the pile behind the door continues to grow as it almost feels like they
Question.
self-clogging the exit.
Does it feel like it is when they hit sunlight, or does it feel like when we get a distance away from them? Or otherwise when my basketball gets a distance away from them?
It feels like it is not necessarily sunlight. It is also not necessarily when they exit the tunnel. But you could make some level of connection between how much of a field or the effect of the thing that you were carrying had when it was plugged into the ground.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure we should be taking this with us, but if it must be destroyed, we can do it elsewhere.
Always leave it nearby. You don't have to keep it with us.
Well, I had a thought, but I wanted your arcane mind on it.
Well, I'm not too sharp in the arcane ways. But
Yes, but your sing-songy shit.
nothing to do with the arcane. However, what I figured is that those things needed some form of magic to keep them running. And that thing there does exactly that, just like ours do on our backs.
Well, see, that's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know much about this, but my curiosity would be, pause. My assumption, based on your description, is that even for martial people, anyone with prowess, that prowess comes from magic in some way.
Yeah.
So even martial fighters are, air quotes, magical, like my second wind and my action. That's all like we'll call it minor magic.
Anything in my mind and in this world, the way I run this version
Sure.
of the D&D universe.
I'm imagining anything beyond a commoner is all
anything
magic related.
beyond what would be in our world, unnatural formed ability, like something that your ability to heal yourself beyond,
or like the
second wind,
or the rapid speed of being able to action surge, or
Yes,
things
yes.
like that. Yeah. So
things that push you beyond the limit of what would be an ordinary ability,
Yeah.
something that is super powered.
So, diving back into the RP. Well, my curiosity is that our prowess, or at least mine, seems to come from the world around us, like your music. And I'm just thinking that a basketball, I wouldn't say basketball. What would I say in world? A stone? Sure. A boulder. That's what I'll say. My assumption would be that a boulder strapped to my back might do me a fair bit better than a rock.
You could say a Ruvian ball. That's the traditional sport of Phalor.
Basically, you get the impression that I'm saying, what if I put this on my back instead of my little rock thing? Do I get 2 action surges? Do I get 2 second wins? Do I get double the power?
You can always try.
How I know anything about that? That's more of a coachy thing to ask.
I'm not going to ask you what your Arcana is, but would you be willing to make an Arcana check? Could he make an Arcana check, or is this like an uncomprehendable thing?
You can make an Arcana check if you wanted. There's no reason why you can't.
My assumption, based on my sheet,
No? Okay.
is that I don't even want to make the check. I wouldn't know anything about this.
I would say based off of your ignorance of the topic, but your feeling of numbness that you got in the way I described it to you, in your head,
It was a good idea.
it feels like the things you're saying line up.
Well, let's get away from here and strap this to my back and see if you might be traveling the rest of this journey by yourself.
Man's got big ideas all the time.
This is the way this works.
You strap it onto your back, you explode.
It could be. Hellbomb activated, you know?
Well, let's not bury him. He's not dousing himself in...
No, his body explodes. Just
yeah.
bolts.
It gets stuffed with magic.
So, whatever, I guess
Yeah.
you said more trenches, we make a distance away from these shambling things.
probably about another 10, 15 minutes as you're moving forward. You do notice that the trench work, the walls are beginning to lower. You're kind of feel like you're getting pushed out back to the surface. And as that continues, the horizon begins to lower and you begin to see out. And you can see out into a valley. To the left of you, you see forest. You see open land. You see what looks like more... It looks like nature that you have seen south of you. Nature exists south of the city. It is a little choked from the grayed skies, but it still exists. You still see trees. But this is a little more green, a little more living, kind of to your left. And as you kind of sweep the horizon, you begin to see the kind of outcroppings of buildings and like a village ahead of you.
A village?
And you see this village in the valley, but this village has been torn apart. This village is burned. This village has buildings that are destroyed. There are remnants of this place. It has been hit by something. You don't see the familiar stasis locks, the warping of reality and gravity on these buildings where things are floating in space. You don't see the familiar devoided fractal lines that shape the artillery work that you're used to. But you do see devastation in front of you. You see a city or a village, a town, relatively decent sized town that is no longer a town. Ruins. Relatively recent. It looks like maybe weeks old. You begin to make your way towards it.
Yeah. Is there any indication of what's destroyed it? Is it like the same bombardment? You said not fractal.
It is not the kind that you're familiar from what you get hit by in terms of what you were almost struck with as you're exiting the trenches and what you're familiar with your city volleying out. It is not that similar kind of damage. This looks like do you have like evocation spells, right? Or like force, shatter? No? It looks like what would be considered traditional bombardment. Like some sort of explosive force, some sort of fire.
Okay.
Yeah. It's force, fire, big booms.
Understood. Yeah. As we will make our way there. If that is the direction the compass tells us to go.
The compass is pointing that direction. You can walk. It's up to you if you would choose to walk through the city, around the city.
I will let Spike decide. I will follow.
What's the area around the city look like? Is it foresty?
You kind of get, there's a little bit of flattening of the forest line right immediately from the city. Some areas the kind of forest kind of gets a little closer to town than others, but there's a bit of a gap between the buildings and the forest.
I'll probably circumvent the city.
Okay, you want to go around?
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of head towards the forest. You know your compass kind of points towards the forest, but you can make your way around it. Begin to make your way around. Kind of looking at the edges of your field of vision towards the city. You guys being relatively quiet?
Relatively, but I don't think sneaking, right?
Not sneaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would just continue on the way I am.
Okay.
What was the ball that you said canonically?
What do you mean?
Lufa ball or some shit?
Oh, Ruvian.
Ruvian. I'll keep my Ruvian ball in my arm for now. No weapons drawn, but still keeping an eye out. Making sure this place is abandoned as we circumnavigate it, making sure the woods aren't any dangers or anything. My plan is to get to the other side of this place when things have calmed down, and then maybe put this Ruvian ball on my back.
So you're looking into the city?
Into the city, out in the woods.
Are you relying on... You want to make a check for that?
Sure.
Either of you?
9.
This dice is like my own. You just tired of me rolling high against him on the on my DMing, so now I got the bad die.
As you guys are walking past, it takes you a little bit. This is a decent sized town. It takes you a bit of time to kind of begin to make your way across the outskirts of this city. The sun is setting. It is getting darker and darker as you guys make your way towards this. As you guys are about 3/4 of the way past the city, you hear a sound in the distance, almost like an alarm, like a ring. And if you look up towards the sky, you can see kind of the outer edges of the city. You can see over the horizon, you see almost what looks like blimps kind of floating towards the city. And kind of at the base of these blimps, you see little shadows kind of start to peek out. You see the shapes kind of dive off and then kind of sprout little wings as they kind of begin to fly towards the eastern side of the city. They kind of hover towards that end of it.
Something's flying towards the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out of these floating things.
Yeah. Think like giant triangular shaped blimps.
I will put a soft hand on Spike's shoulder, lowering him. Now it's time to stealth. We're in the woods, right? Around
Yeah,
the city?
you guys are in the wooded areas.
Yeah.
Think we should get deeper into the trees.
Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, roll the same.
You gonna follow suit with the stealth check?
Yes.
14, and I roll at disadvantage.
Okay.
That's not bad for disadvantage.
That is not bad.
14? I'll take a 14 at disadvantage. That's fine.
17.
Okay.
Could have been a 4. Maybe you shouldn't throw your dice all over the fucking place.
Sorry for those who can't see. I had to reach across the table to Sav's dice
Steal
because
my dice.
I fucking flung my dice across the floor in like the first 10 minutes of the game.
DMs don't need dice.
No. I could just wing it.
Just make up number. I rolled a 20. Sorry.
But yeah, you guys stealth, move further into the tree line, feeling pretty secure about not being seen by whatever this is. And you begin to kind of continue moving forward. And behind you, as you see these shadows and shapes of what look like giant, almost bird-like creatures. Did I ask you what your familiarity with the Coalition? I think I was asking Gray. Do you have any extended familiarity with the Coalition?
Doubt it. I think I just have suspicions that they might not be all that bad and that maybe we're the bad guys and I don't really care all that much. But more like curiosity. I think Karek has a lot of curiosities about the world that he just shoves down and ignores.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I would even ask very many questions about the Coalition.
Okay. You guys continue to move forward. You see behind you from these shapes what looks like glints, kind of sparkling glints, kind of begin to drop from them as they kind of make off. And as they hit the ground, you hear giant explosions as you see giant fireballs lift into the air as they begin to kind of circle back around and begin to move again back towards the city. You guys continue moving forward.
Yeah, seeing these flashes off in the distance, hopefully not spotting us.
Following your compass, it kind of, you've wavered away from west, away from the target of the compass, but it is still pointing you back. You can correct yourself forward. You begin to move deeper into the forest. A couple of times you have to navigate small little river currents.
My dog is snoring in the corner.
Oh.
I was like, what's that noise?
But you continue to make your way forward. And as you begin to pass and exit the forest lines, you see more scars of what is the world you live in. As you see more kind of sweeps of what look like bombardment. And you could see that in this area, this trail of kind of various pockets and pools of water that have formed from these explosions, you can see there is mangled rail line that kind of sit in the middle of this sweep. And ahead of you in the distance, you can make out there is the remnants of a rail line that moves out in the direction that you're heading. And you see in that distance, you see a station, what looks like a train station and what looks like a relatively functional engine. Behind it are a couple of carts that are attached, and 2 or 3 carts that are attached to behind it. Beyond that point, the carts have kind of fallen over and have been torn apart. But it looks like the engine itself still sits there.
None of these things are strange to us. We live in a world with trains.
Yeah, there are trains.
Okay.
Trains exist. You are familiar with what a train engine would be.
Mm-hmm.
There are trains in the city. The city you live in Phalor is relatively big.
Yeah.
There
and
are
advanced.
there are tensors discs that fucking float people around, but there are traditional means of transportation.
Yeah.
Semi-traditional means of transportation.
It's still magically driven, but
Yeah, almost everything is magically driven.
Yeah.
But you begin to kind of, or at least that is the direction that you are heading.
which way do the tracks lead? Do they lead northwest?
They lead in the direction that your compass is headed towards.
You think what are these objects on our back called?
You call them filters.
Filters. You think this filter can pilot one of those trains?
Can't say I know much about locomotion.
I imagine it needs some type of conduit connecting it to the arcane.
Could always check if it has a filter itself.
All right. If it does, this one goes on my back. If not, this one goes on the train. I want a double action surge at level 4. But also, we might have a key. We might have a key for locomotion here.
Yeah. Check out the train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you need your hands for components.
Mm.
Okay.
You guys walk towards the train. There is the accompanying station that is next to it, but there is also the engine. Are you going immediately to the station? Oh, you're gonna.
Yeah, I wanna. Do we see any movement? Do we hear any movement in the distance? Anything like that?
Are you gonna stay a distance and look, or you?
No, just as approaching.
As approaching.
It looks abandoned, right?
Yeah, it looks abandoned.
It looks destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, just if we see anything.
Uh,
I will pull out again one of my hand axes, just in case, with my offhand as we approach, and once again take formation in front of Spike.
you want to make that a check?
If you want,
Give me a perception check. I can rely on your passive.
I'll rely on passive. It's fine. I got nothing. 5.
We'll rely on your passive.
No, it's fine. I rolled for it. I tried.
Yeah.
You know, risk, reward, fail. During the break, I'll get you more dice. You clown.
All right.
Approach.
Begin to approach. You don't see anything. Nothing comes to your attention. But you approach the engine. The engine or the station?
The engine, right? Yeah.
You approach the engine. You look. It's still attached to these. And as you are approaching the engine, you are passing by a series of carts, most of them turned over one looks like it's tweaked to the side is attached to the last one that's attached to the engine. So there is a series of these cars that are attached to this engine that most are turned over. But as you pass by them, you reach the engine itself. What are you looking for?
Well, I suppose we're looking for a filter. We're making sure it's abandoned. We're looking for a filter. We're looking for how you might move this thing. I wouldn't know anything about locomotion. You've already declared that you haven't. So we're just trying to figure out how to make this thing move. Or if there is a place for a filter but no filter there, if we can place this filter or the one on my back into it.
All right. You begin to kind of walk around and inspect and go through, and what would be the open space, the cab, where the driver would be. You enter, and most of this looks relatively alien to you. There are a series of switches and buttons and handhelds and levers and various dangling instruments that you could see. You're trying to kind of best guess what is what and how would things move where.
It is at night as well, right?
Yeah. This is pretty much you're entering moonlight.
Okay.
Are you both inspecting just the inside, or is one taking inside outside?
I'll go around once on the outside.
Okay.
Come. I'll go inside.
Inside. Outside, as you're kind of looking, Gray, Spike, near the top of the train, something does catch your attention. Something familiar. Looks like the edges at the top of something. There is a ladder that you can climb to the top of it.
Climb the top.
Climb to the top. And you see there is what looks like an inset, although jostled off of it and slightly destroyed, what looks like a pattern, what looks like a fractal filter at the top of this train.
Does it look like one of ours?
It does not. It is unfamiliar. It doesn't look Coalition, and it doesn't look like Bezerites.
How big is it compared to the basketball?
It is a little bit bigger than the basketball. So it is probably an extra
A medicine ball.
half foot, like an extra half foot radius bigger than the basketball. But part of the side of it and kind of concussed through a wave of it, the filter and the metal have kind of been sundered, kind of been torn up.
Does it look like it'd be easy to remove, or
You can attempt to.
give it a jostle, see if it budges at all?
You start to
like
get, you
loose.
kind of feel it peeling away at parts. It's a little hard for you.
Yeah, definitely is hard for me. I'll cast message in the direction of the inside. Like, found a filter. It's right up top.
When I get that message, what am I seeing inside?
You're seeing these series of levers and buttons and switches, and
Shit.
you can start to try to surmise what is things, and if
I
you
probably
want
wouldn't
to,
be thinking about that yet. I would be thinking only because this is classic Karik, where he's like, there's a problem here. But there's a problem before this problem, so let's just figure that shit out first. I'm just looking at this like, there's no way I'm going to figure out what levers there are. And then I hear that message in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go figure out the filter thing first, and then we'll worry about levers. I don't reply to your message. I'll circle around outside and climb up the ladder.
yeah, you do so, and you meet Spike up at the top.
Well, there it is.
Oh, do we want to give it the old hot swap and see if it can power this thing?
Might not work as well. But if it works, it works.
might work better, as it was made by Kochi. Perhaps smaller does not mean less powerful.
What I have to tell myself every day.
You fuck.
Might as well try.
I'll place it down and try removing the broken filter on the top of the engine.
Okay. You begin to kind of move and jostle, and give me another athletics check.
Not as good this time. 16.
16. Still,
Not bad.
yeah, still very good.
Yeah.
You don't feel that quite. The train doesn't give away as much as the earth in the trench did, but you still feel strong enough. You wield a greatsword, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
I have good strength.
Yeah.
I have a 17 in strength.
Yeah. This is still relatively. This is not that bad. You've been training for years. You've swung a greatsword many a time in a single day, and you've worn out your arms. This does nothing compared to your training. And you yank off this filter, and you look at the remnants of underneath, and you see there are some points of the metal that have been kind of worn and shaved away, and there are parts that are sticking out. And this, much like the filter that you got and you broke off the spike, the metal is thinner, and it gives way and it bends easier than you think it would. There is a pliability to this metal that is surprising when you think of the importance of the structure. But you toss this thing to the side.
Yeah, it's trash. Fuck it. I only deal with the best. Kochi filters. TM. I will toss that to the side. I will pick up the Kochi filter.
Uh-huh.
And I will place it, hoping for it to feel almost like a puzzle where, move it around and it'll almost feel like it goes like clunk, like it fits in. But as best I can, place it in and see if I can shift it around until it feels right.
Thankfully, you still have that little bit of an end to the spike before you broke it off. And as you go and try to insert it, it's a little loose. It doesn't quite fit. But again, the pliability of the metal, you can already, you know what you're trying to do. You kind of hold it in your hand as you go to the base that you're trying to connect it to, and you kind of, with your hand strength and kind of cupping around the metal that's there, you kind of tweak it and adjust it. And even at the bottom of the spike of Kochi's, you kind of tweak and adjust to try to create flush lines and places for the metal to contact. Because in your head, as much as you could draw the assumption, the way your filter works on your chest, it's just skin to skin contact. It's just contact of the metal. And even the way that it's wired and connected onto your shoulder, it just looks like it's connection points. It's just metal connection points that you need. So as you go and you kind of twist and you try to friction fit this piece onto itself, and you twist and turn and you feel enough give, but not enough where you feel like you're going to tweak and tear the metal. You fit it and set it just right in finger and hand strength, your hand torque. As you set it, kind of begin to kind of play with it and tap it and push on it, and you feel pretty secure that you've set this Kochi filter onto this train.
Does it do anything?
Not immediately.
All right, back to the second problem. There are levers and pulleys and things inside. We may be wasting our time here, but I'm sure we can at least attempt to deduce what they all do and get this thing moving, if this has even worked.
Well, we never know until we try. Get in there and start pressing buttons and using levers.
I'll nod as I'll start climbing down the ladder. Perhaps you can smooth talk it.
Give me a charisma check.
I'll play it a song.
Can I persuade the train to move?
I'd like to sleep with the train.
I mean, you are a bard. That is classic what bards do. They sleep with trains, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the tracks in front of them.
Yeah.
Like they should. Especially when they're tieflings.
No, try to deduce what these levers do. Make this thing move.
Okay, you want to give me either of you intelligence or investigation, or you guys want to just start fiddling?
I'm going to give him the help action, which gives him advantage.
Might as well.
But what's the check?
Intelligence or investigation?
Same thing to me. 16.
Nice. As you kind of fiddle around or look at various parts of this train, some stand out a little more obvious than others. Like the giant lever that seems to be in one side. Kind of grip and handle forward and push it forward, and you feel something. You feel some amount of something is going on in this train as you kind of lever forward, and as you kind of continue to look at where everything is connected and how things are connected and what looks like more important buttons than other buttons. One of them stands out a little brighter than the other. It's a little bigger. It's a little more detailed in its shape. As you click it and you hear a hum kind of go through the whole train. You hear again. Then that hum feels steady. Grab that lever again and you pull forward and you feel a little jostle in the tracks as the train starts to move forward and begins to move slightly forward, but you begin to hear a ton of noise as the train is beginning to pull the cart behind it, as the cart that was behind it begins to tilt even further, and as it tilts completely forward, the one in front of it crashes down, and the train almost begins to lift off the track.
I'm just going to hold on for dear life.
The train is still trying to pull itself forward, and it's beginning to continue to try to drag.
Do I see that it is that? Do I see that it is the...
I mean, you could hear that it is the car. There are a series of cars that are still attached to the back of the train.
I'm gonna run out the back. My assumption is they would be attached in some way that I cannot fathom. My immediate thought is to just start smashing shit, because that's more so what I'm good at. But again, always leave the second problem for second. I'm going to try and see if I can see a way that this is attached.
You could see that there is a coupling that is on like a larger metal spike that is around, that is kind of jostling around as the train is trying to force this giant trail of it behind it.
So removing the spike, presumably.
You could try.
Does it look like there's anything I can break immediately?
Nothing immediate, but I will give you a friendly reminder as a DM that you also have access to a crowbar in your Wasteland bag if you want to use it.
Is the spike grabbable?
You can grab it if you want.
Yeah, try to grab it and yank it out then. If I can't break it, then I will try and yank it out. That shit it's the weight of two trains pulling on each other.
Okay. You go and grab it, and at a point in which you grab, there is a yank as the train is still trying to yank itself forward, and you get a big jostle that you get the skin pinch on one of your fingers as it kind of bites down at the edge of your finger. Not enough for damage, but enough to fucking hurt.
At this point, I'll try to stop.
Okay, you yank the lever and kind of stop the train from moving forward.
Do I notice the couplings loosen up at all as they are no longer pulling on each other?
There is a little bit of loosening, but there is general tension of the weight of these cars that are now pulling against it.
Well, now that we've stopped, I'll try pulling out the crowbar, and I'll try again.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is just still a strength check or an athletics
Yeah.
check. 30-20.
Oh, nice. It takes you a little bit of fiddling as you're kind of like going in there and kind of trying to release the coupling from each other. Probably would have been way easier when these were not moving and not tension.
Yeah.
As you take enough of your strength.
I don't know enough about, like, in real life, yes. I had the thought in character to be like, stop the car. But as in character, I don't know what the fuck trains are. I know I ride on them. That's about it. So I was, just trying to lift the spike out. It's fine.
You lift this thing as the coupling breaks off, and that last bit of tension of this car as it was being held in other cars topples over, crashes to the ground, and now your engine is free.
Mm-hmm. As I will swing myself back in, drop the crowbar on the floor. Is there like a bench seat?
Yes.
Flop into the bench seat and just kind of wave you on like, now we can go. I'm exhausted. That was very hard. That was a failed athletics check, which means to me that like a failed lift, you know, you're trying to hit a PR in the gym. A failed lift is exhausting. Yeah. Even though it's just one rep. And then having to, after that, do another rep, that time succeeding. I'm just like splayed out on this bench, just waving and out of breath, like, let's fucking go.
All right, I'll go forward. Whatever the switch is, hit that lever.
You hit the lever forward. And as the train begins to roll, and as you're taking your breath from exhaustion, as you look beyond the horizon, probably in your life, one of the more natural and just the landscape in itself, more pristine version of the world that you've probably ever seen. Do you take a seat next to him? Do you stay at the cart? Do you look forward in the horizon?
I'll stay in the front, keep an eye on the compass and the direction of the train.
The direction of the train is slightly off of the compass, but it will take you in the direction that you guys are heading.
I think to match the music that you never had me change, as I'm looking out at this, what would otherwise be the most gorgeous landscape I imagine I've seen, because I've seen Fertile Land before, but it had gray skies. It was gloomy. This is like open. I imagine there are stars, night sky. Mm-hmm. I think that part of me, just playing into things that I've said earlier about Karek, about like shoving things down, that kind of doesn't like this. Mm-hmm. It reinforces Karek's curious theorizing that like where we live sucks and the rest of the world is good, and it just like emphasizes the lie that we live within that I know I'm going back to, and therefore I don't like it. This otherwise beautiful landscape gives me a gross feeling instead. Mm-hmm. As we truck along on the tracks.
Ray looking towards the direction of the goal, and Karek
just looking with distaste for the beautiful world.
And the self-realization or the self-preservation of his thoughts and what it means for the part of the world that he plays in. We can put a pin in it there.
Put a pin in it or take a break?
We'll put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. An interesting little world that you've built here. I very much like Karek and Spike immediately.
You say that about all of our characters.
I know. I just like playing TTRPGs with you guys, I think it's interesting to explore a world that is less familiar, especially with the character that is not very familiar within it. Mm-hmm. Like there's a level of when you're playing in like low magic fantasy where like you walk up to a guy chopping wood and you can just mechanically understand how that works. Or when you play in a little bit higher fantasy, if you have any inclining of the arcane, it's like, yeah, someone's using a magic item. Someone has an activation word, blah, blah, blah. Like all of these things I feel like not just make sense to you as the player, but to the character as well. Whereas in a world advanced, it's like, yeah, there's specialty things like locomotion that like, why the fuck would I know about that? I'm like a beat cop. I walk the street. I'm more like a street thug. I walk the streets and do jobs and deliver things from A to B. Maybe sometimes I ride the metro. I don't know how to drive the metro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, it's kind of fun being in a world that is advanced through magic that I don't understand mechanically how you make things work and have to figure out, and then playing a character within it that also doesn't understand and is trying to figure things out. I also like my inclination is like, oh, there's a spike, you say. I'll try and pull on the spike, knowing that I'm making it harder for myself. And then just the room that gave your character Spike to be like, I'll just stop the train. It's like, yeah, that'd be helpful. You essentially, by the way, you gave me a roll as the DM. I failed it. And then Spike, you stopped the train, which gave me a second roll that I passed, which is mechanically what the help action is. Not typically how it's used in the way that I used it moments earlier was almost like a handoff thing where I was like, I just help action.
Yeah. The player initiated something that changed the event that the other player was working with.
It'd be something that I would love to do in my games, but I would never be able to online because everybody online is very set in a way that they like to do things and talk about things. But at the home table, like, yeah, you're just not allowed to say words that are on your character sheet.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're making a perception check. Tell me you're looking around. Don't tell me you're giving the help action to someone. Tell me how you're helping them, and then I'll tell you if they roll an advantage or not. Stop reading words on your sheet, please. Because that was way cooler. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I knew I could explain it, and I think you knew that I could explain it, which is why we just didn't do anything about it, which is how it gets skated past most of the times in terms of things like the help action. Because like I could have just been like, yeah, we were both looking at the levers and whatnot. As he was looking at things, I was helping him. You know, we bullshitted back and forth of what we think things do. You could explain it. I didn't, and you didn't feel that I needed to, so we just moved on. I gave him the help action. But literally what you did was give me the help action. You very explicitly expressed how you were helping me, and that was enough for the DM to be like, oh yeah, roll again. Why wouldn't you be able to roll again in this situation? If you didn't do that and we just kept moving though,
oh, I was gonna yank the train off the
yeah. If we just kept moving after I fail my check, there's no like, oh yeah, you could try again.
Also, I did not think of you keeping the basketball. That was not an option in my head of like, I love it. Hey, keep the basketball if you wanted to. Yeah, okay, yeah, you got that.
I love it. Don't tell me anything about it, because if I know it's good, I'll use it, and I don't want to know.
There were more filters in the front that just didn't come. I forgot to like use passives to help hint.
It's fine. We got a cool way that we figured out how to do something neat. I enjoyed it very much. Sweet. All right. Well, thank you for listening to System Exploration by Unfortunate Ones as we explore D&D 5e in a very not classic world. As we explore one of Nyx's worlds with an advanced society that is apparently war-torn and very depressing, as the music is always awful.
Yeah. Enjoy
the vibes are bad, and I love bad vibes.
Yeah, and if you haven't already guessed it, enjoy my take on the movie 1917.
Oh yeah,
yeah, from the trenches alone.
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, he mentioned this.
Yeah.
When you mentioned it, I did think there were going to be more mechanics. Because when I think of like, oh, we're going to do a 1917 thing, I'm thinking of like just when he's running between the trenches in No Man's Land. I was thinking that was going to be like the bulk of it was somehow mechanics in there, which I could think of one or two, but not a whole campaign. And I was like, how is he going to pull that off?
Yeah, I'm trying.
The rest of the story. Yeah. Oh, I am so sure that we were supposed to go through that city and it would have been really cool. Dangerous
Yeah.
and a bad idea, but cooler.
There was an event in there. It was fine.
It's fine.
Could have gone through the city and got bombed.
Yeah. Yeah, and the flashing lights, and then ran into baddies, and then had to fight the baddies in the flashing light. Yeah. Would have been sick. Is that exactly what it was?
It's something. Not quite. It was essentially the replacement of the woman with the child. It was going to be a father and a daughter, and then if you used magic to heal the father because the father was injured, it was going to trigger a siren from a patrol group that was nearby.
This was like take the damage stuff. This was like cooldown stuff.
Oh yeah,
We're using all of our cooldown content.
We'll talk about it later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of System Exploration. Please like, subscribe, hit bells, and links in our description, and we will catch you next time for part 2 of. You have a name for this?
Not yet.
1917. Whatever this is named, we will catch you for part 2 next week.
Spirited 1917 Howl's Adventure. It's a bunch of
Good
stuff.
night. Thank you for listening.
We're not looking on the back of the thing, right? A thing shows up. We're not looking on his back.
Have a good one, folks. Bye.
Bye.